This week on It Would Seem As Though, we are going to talk about school, our experiences in elementary, high school, college, all of the things, taking you way back to the times when life was but a dream, sweetheart.
For the second time.
It would seem as though.
Hi.
Welcome to Wish a Bitch Would Wednesday. Here at It Would Seem As Though, the podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing.
Mostly nothing.
It feels like nothing because we just talked for the last 10 minutes and I realized I hadn't pushed the record button. I actually did though. I pushed the record. I must not have hit it I don't know.
Yeah,
I know that I clicked on it though.
I believe you.
God. No, you don't.
I totally believe
No,
that
you
you
don't.
think you did that.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, girl.
There we go. You believe that I believe.
Yeah,
I believe.
I'm happy you have faith in something. I'm glad you placed it in yourself.
Wow. Oh my God.
I have nothing to say because
we've already said all the
everything
things.
I need
we
to.
did the entire podcast and we were going home and I realized that we were at 16 seconds and it's your fault. Absolutely your fault.
Fine, whatever. I'll just take the blame.
Oh my God. So now we have to start all over again.
Right.
Talk about this week.
Oh my God. Okay.
I will start and talk about, so Sunday was my birthday.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Sunday was also, by the way, the birthday or anniversary or whatever you want to say of my stage persona because I started doing drag on my 21st birthday.
Oh my God.
So 40 years. I'm 61.
Oh my God.
I know. Can you believe it?
Patio Door is older than me.
Yeah. Yeah, because I started performing in 1983.
Okay.
And then you were born in 1989, so yeah. Crazy. Yeah. But as I mentioned in the part that should have been recorded,
yeah.
But, I fucked it. God, I keep burping because I'm drinking coffee.
God.
Sorry, I'm so gross.
What a weird podcast people are listening to.
Oh my God. If anyone's listening, if anyone's out there, I apologize for being stupid. But I want to thank everybody who sent me birthday things on the Facebook and on text. I got about 100 well wishes for my birthday with some, gifts and just some little fun things and whatever. And I really, really appreciate that. I love that. And, it's not too late to send cash or,
right.
gift cards.
I don't need your thoughts and prayers. I want cash, please.
Oh my God. On that note, I saw some idiot politician the other day being interviewed, and the person interviewing him said, the thoughts and prayers just don't seem to be working because, people are still getting shot. And he had the nerve to say that he believes in an almighty, all-controlling, all-knowing God who absolutely answers our prayers. And it was like, but then why are people still getting shot?
Right.
If the thoughts and prayers are...
If they're like magical shields.
Yeah.
Then why is little Timmy...
Like Wonder Woman's bracelets.
Yeah. Exactly that.
Yeah. So... Anyway, but that was very sweet. I really appreciated all the lovely things, that people had to say. I also had not fun things happen because I had to take my mother to the emergency room on Saturday. Like, I get home from work, and then I had to go to the emergency room. I just wanted to sit on my fat ass and watch TV.
Yeah.
That's really all I wanted to do.
How disrespectful.
Because the emergency room, I don't care what day you go, what time you go, you're going to be there for a minimum of 3 hours.
Yeah, a minimum.
And that's on a good day. And so I did that because she hurt her back a couple weeks ago. And
God knows how. A falcon was carrying her home or something. Yeah, she fell from the sky.
Yeah. That's the story. And then I took her to the doctor on Monday, and they ordered labs. And so the lab was backed up. There was hundreds and thousands of people in the lab. So that took 72 hours. And then yesterday, get a call first thing in the morning going, you need to take her to the emergency room because her potassium level is so low that it's dangerous.
Great.
And I'm like, okay.
Can't I just feed her a banana?
Or several.
Yeah.
And I just, force feed her an entire pack of, whatever. Bunch of banana pack. A pack of bananas. I'm going to open up a pack of,
That's not how that
grow
works.
in the banana
It's not like a
shopping
pea
center.
pod, girl, where you open, there's 3 bananas. That's not right.
That's not how that works.
No, are we recording?
We are.
I see you
recording.
looking
Stop
at it, so
We're
I want to
recording.
make sure we're recording.
Stop it.
Stop
Anyway. She's fine.
Yeah, she's 83. She's fine.
83 with dementia, doesn't even remember we went to the hospital. So.
Right. Or my favorite, though, is what you told me today, that on the way home from the hospital yesterday, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
That she said, how was your day? And literally you've been at the hospital with her all day.
7 hours.
That is so funny to me.
It was blissful. You got to sit there and watch. Oh my God, but I will tell you something funny that happened while we were there. So when they finally got her back into her room, on the TV, though the TV was muted, it was the breastfeeding channel.
I love that.
Because, well, we're in a hospital, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I am way too old to even have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I'm not breastfeeding anybody.
No.
Although I did learn all the different positions to hold a baby in while you're breastfeeding.
Perfect.
Yeah.
See, the hospital is good for you.
I got some education. So if anyone says to me, how should I hold my baby whilst breastfeeding? I can say, well, I know this.
Yeah, let me show you.
Let me show you all the ways. Because
Yeah.
I just thought there was just the one. You cradle the baby under your
Yeah.
boob. No.
Oh, no.
There are many ways. And now I know
Upside down, you hold it by its legs.
them.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, well, oh yeah, and Friday was when we put little Mixie Pug down. Remember?
Yes.
So it's been a big week, okay? So our little 13-year-old pug was, took cross adventure and crossed the Rainbow Bridge on Friday. And then Grandma went to the ER on Saturday because fibromyalgia or something. And then your birthday was on Sunday. What is today? Wednesday.
Today is Wednesday.
I'm really
It's
thrown
wish
off.
a bitch would.
Wishy
Wednesday.
bishy woo. I wish a bitch woo.
I wish a bitch would. I tell
Agreed.
you what.
I know.
I just feel like if, I could just punch maybe one
Yeah.
person.
I'm waiting. You want to know why? Just because, I've been on edge for years, So
Right.
I'm just waiting for one more thing.
I'm sure you've heard that with dogs, sometimes when they bite someone, it's because they just have to. They literally have this energy that is making them, have this need to bite.
Yeah.
And once they bite, they often are like, oh, shit.
Sorry.
They have that look on their face like, oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
Because they literally can't. I think if I just could punch just one person.
I feel better.
I feel like a whole lot of that tension would just flow out of me.
Yeah.
Except I probably then wouldn't have the look of, oh shit, what did I just do?
Yeah, you'd be all, again?
I'd be like, oh, blissful.
Where's the
Can I
next
do it
one?
again?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Who else can I punch? I've actually literally never punched anyone. Not for real. I'm goofing around.
Sure.
Whatever. And whatever, on the arm. But, oh wait, that's not exactly true. I did punch my brother in the face one time, but I don't think I even hurt him.
Yeah.
Because he was super, super close to me. And being a complete and total jackass, which is so on brand. for him.
on brand.
It's like his brand. Anyway, he was being ugly and saying hateful things to me. And he's like, oh, do you want to hit me? Do you want to hit me? Would you feel better if you hit me? Do you want to hit me? So I hit him.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only part of it that was satisfying is his nose bled. But his nose bled if you just looked at him cross-eyed. So
Right.
That was only slightly satisfying.
You're all, I did that.
Because then he hit me a lot. So
Yeah.
that part wasn't so good. But, I'm not even sure, because I never have, I'm not actually sure that I could.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I
swing
have
your
the
whole
power.
arm.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Just wallop them from the side or
Yeah.
something. Slapping, I think I could do really well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I am that bitch. I could, throwing a cocktail in someone's face would be fun.
Yeah.
Never done that either.
Right. So basically you just want to live from
I want
as
to
the
be
cast
like a
of Dynasty.
1940s movie queen who throws a drink in someone's face and then slaps them so hard that they leave a handprint for a week. Yeah.
I love that. That's ideal.
If you line up a couple ex-husbands, I would do that.
Look, there's this bar.
Yours or mine.
Yeah, I don't care. You have an ex-husband? I'll slap him.
We could start a
Oh
service.
my god, girl. So there's a couple bars. I don't know where they are, what they're called, but that's not the point. Part of their little shtick is that guys will pay for one of the waitresses to sit on the bar, throw water in their face. The guys take a shot. The waitress throws water in their face and fucking cold cocks them across the face.
And why?
Because men are stupid. I don't really have a better answer than that.
There is that.
But I saw that and I was like, oh my god. So just
Can I work at this bar?
just like a pretty girl sitting on the bar, throwing water in men's faces and slapping them. Let me tell you, I'm in.
Yeah.
That's dreamy
I
McDreamerson.
mean, I'm too old and, whatever. They probably wouldn't want me, but
Yeah.
that is a dream job.
Right? Ugh, just being able to slap men.
So can you imagine getting home and being like, God, my hand is sore. Why? I had to slap like 12 guys.
Yeah,
today.
you have no idea.
I'm so exhausted.
Exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
But,
my
you know,
God.
we all can dream.
Yeah, dream big.
Yeah.
The other thing was Poison Waters being announced as Grand Marshal of the Starlight Parade.
Right.
I was like, what is it called? The Starlight Parade. So every year in Oregon here, in
Oregon.
Portlandia,
Yeah.
we have the Rose Festival, which was started back by the original owners of the Oregonian paper. His wife started it as just a way to celebrate the roses coming into bloom, because Portland is the city of roses. And then it became what it is now, which is there's the big downtown waterfront festival with rides and food and all the nonsense and shenanigans. And a parade, and there's two parades. There's the Starlight Parade, which happens at night, hence the name. And then there's the Grand Floral Parade, which happens on the last Saturday of the Rose Festival. So the Grand Floral, the Starlight Parade, God, I can't
Jesus
The
Christ.
Starlight Parade
Yeah.
made Miss Poison Marie Waters their
Grand Marshal.
Grand Marshal,
I love that.
which I love, having a drag queen as the Grand Marshal, and especially in this economy, in this time when drag queens are being vilified everywhere, and so kudos.
Yeah, snaps for
Snaps
you.
for her.
Snaps for you, Miss Poison.
Yeah.
Poisson.
I know it's lame.
I don't like that.
Well, it's what I had available.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Sound touching.
Yeah. Well, and so all of the news medias who put it out here in Portland shut off the comments on their online stuff so that people couldn't be hateful and ugly, except for KATU Channel 12, who was like, we really need to hear what the idiots and bigots need to say.
Yeah.
So they had their chance to go off and be like, you're trying to pervert our children and you're grooming. How on earth is a drag queen sitting on a float, waving?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not
Grooming
like
your children.
Yeah, that's weird. People are stupid.
Because the homosexuality is not contagious. And if your children are looking at that drag queen up there on that thing going, I want to be her, that was already set a while back that they're queer.
That's not the first time they thought that.
They just get to look at a pretty boy in a dress and go,
What?
I want to be her.
Oh my god, what? I know.
Oh, I'm sorry, in case you didn't know, Poison Waters, boy in a dress. I'm not trying to out her or anything, but it's kind of common knowledge. So snaps and kudos to you, Miss Poison.
Yes,
I love
girl.
you. And that's an awesome honor.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
I love that.
So we decided this week. Well, I decided. I usually am the one who picks the topic, and then Annika's like, "What are we talking about this week?" And I'm like, "Let's do this." Okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's
kind of
really,
how it-
really thought out. And sometimes I do research.
Yeah. This week, I don't think we did anything. I mean, I didn't. Because what are you going to research? Because we're talking about school.
Yeah,
Like our experiences in school.
School.
From like K through whatever, through college.
Yeah.
And through whatever. I mean, I didn't go to a traditional university. I went to trade school.
Yeah.
And Annika went to 17 different colleges because she's a college dropout.
Yeah, like 20 times over.
20 times. But then she's almost done.
I am, girl.
As we have mentioned many times, she's going to have 2 degrees.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's
2 of them.
But we're going to talk about that because neither of us had a great time in school.
No.
But even with that, there were some things that were probably either funny or stupid or terrible that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
There was lots of terrible.
Right.
Because we both grew up out in Hillbillyville.
BFE, bitch. Middle of nowhere.
Middle of fucking nowhere. You know, it's so funny because talking with my mother, she'll say things about how wonderful it was living out in the country. And it's like, for whom? If you're young and queer and weird, it's not for you.
Hell no.
No. So anyway, we thought, school. Fun
School,
topic.
man.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
school, man.
It's like tubular.
I will tell you, so starting my school adventure started with me being a kindergarten dropout.
Right.
Which, of course, my husband loves to tease me about.
See?
He's like, well, you know, I may have dropped out of high school, but you dropped out of kindergarten.
Yeah. Really, though.
I couldn't help it. So when I went to kindergarten, it wasn't part of public school. It was it was like private, basically like private school. You had to pay, kind of like preschool now.
Yeah.
You know, but although a lot of preschool now is included in public school, but we was po, and so
I met you.
I started going to kindergarten, and well, kindergarten was also problematic for me because you're supposed to like, oh my. I was like, I just looked at it. I was like, did I not hit recording it? No, I did. I'm just being dumb.
Oh,
Sorry.
my God.
Now I'm all gun shy.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, but it was like, not loving kindergarten because, you know, they have quiet time where you have to not talk.
Oh, right.
And I was the 5-year-old who's like, not talk.
You're all, ew.
Okay, we want you to have time to just put your head down and take a little nap and do whatever. Because when I was in kindergarten, literally all you did is you like colored, you learned how to share.
Okay.
And you took naps and had snacks. And I was like, I wish kind of life was like that.
Right.
You know, but now, of course, by kindergarten, they expect you to know how to use a computer and to know your address, your phone number.
That's crazy.
I'm like, that's a lot for 5.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I had to drop out because we couldn't afford it.
Oh my God.
But then we moved out into the country because then we lived in the city.
And then you went to
Not even
school
the
with
city.
like
We lived in
the
Beaverton.
wildlife.
Yeah, and then
You
we
and the
moved out to the
raccoon
country.
babies.
I was in a 1-room school with some raccoons.
An opossum.
A possum. Almost. It was pretty close. I mean, because when I moved, we moved from Beaverton, which suburb of Portland, and now it's almost, I swear to God, it's almost as big as Portland, but moved out to Yamhill, population 625.
Yeah, so big.
And then we moved not
Lots
even
of
into
variety.
town,
Right.
but out into the country.
Yeah.
So we were 6 miles out of 6 miles, 3 miles.
Miles.
6 miles. You'd probably be another.
Girl,
town.
it doesn't matter.
We were miles out of town, and yeah, our closest neighbor was 2 fields away.
I love that.
Yeah.
Run across the
See, I
fields.
kind of would love that now to have
Yeah.
my closest neighbor be like, couldn't hear me if I screamed.
That's so funny that talking about that earlier today, we mentioned how we, you know, as youth thought living in inner city and like a downtown would be like the best time, and it was what we always wanted. But now I'm like, I can't imagine. Like driving around Portland and just seeing all the trees and shit, there was no way I could like want to live anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's funny that kind of, it takes you back a little bit. Like even if we had less neighbors and we're a little further out, I wouldn't be so mad. You know what I
No.
mean? Which is crazy because remember we always said, "Ooh, God, never live that country life." And we wouldn't ever, but
No.
we wouldn't. The city life also is not my jam. I like to go into
completely
it.
off topic, but your highlighter game is totally popping today.
Thank you.
You look so good.
Thank you so
Don't
much.
you always look good?
Yeah.
But I was just looking at the highlighter like on the inside of your eyes.
Yeah.
And then it was like, girl, she's so pretty. She's so
like
shiny and
It's shiny.
in the best kind of shiny.
Yeah, I
Not
know.
like oily shiny.
No,
Pretty
right?
shiny.
Thank you. I just want to look other.
Sorry, I know that was completely off topic. But
Listen.
I'm sitting here mesmerized by all the shine on her face.
Just
'cause
like-
I'm a magpie. I'm just like,
Feed my ego. It's fine. But also, I want to, you know, look kind of like otherworldly and vaguely threatening. You know?
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so we literally moved out to the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
And walk from our house. We would like walk across the road to the river and go swimming and stuff. That river, but it's so weird. I don't know how rivers can change so much because now it's like a little stream going through someone's backyard. It's not even a river anymore. Right there where
Yeah.
we used to be, it was like, was it just from people building shit up around there? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they took down all of the trees around it,
Ugh.
which just like that's sad.
Yeah. I know.
So they could do what? Build some crappy houses?
Yeah, developments. I remember growing up in oh my God, this has nothing to do with school, but just, and I gauge it by like what grade I was in, I guess. But like the developments that went up around Carlton, because there was like the Web Edition, which was like going towards Yamhill.
Yes.
And that was like the only one for the longest time. And then they started to build up by the school, and now there's like developments kind of everywhere in
Yeah.
Carlton, which is weird.
Well, and I know that the one that they built out close to where that house that Tracy lived in, out there by the church.
Yeah.
That huge development they put in, and it sat empty for a long time.
That is so
because it was like right around the crash.
Yeah.
You know.
But also, who wants to live out there? Everything is far away, and there's like a
Who wants
tiny
to go to
schoolhouse.
town with a boy who drives a rowboat anyway?
Honestly. But there are things I do kind of miss, like no, that I do look back on fondly, like compared to
Yeah, I think that's different than missing it.
yeah, compared to like how kids go to school now. Like I went to a very small school, right? There was K through 8 in one school, and so I didn't have like a middle school experience. You know what I mean?
Same.
Yeah.
Because we went to the same school.
Right. And being able to, like, I walked to school a lot with my siblings. And I know people walk to school here too. It just felt different in the country. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a big deal. Like, everyone knew everyone else. It was, and that's not something that I usually look back and think, that was great. But there is kind of, like, a wannabe Mayberry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there are people, that's like the whole idea, but they just are really ignorant.
It wasn't until I was older that I found out that Carleton was just full of chimos.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Because one of the things I found out, one of my clients, her brother was a chimo and was actually sent to live. I mean, they like relocated him to Carleton because they have to find a place where the population is sparse enough where they can be X amount of feet from children. So where are you going to put them? In the country.
Yeah.
And I found out because they have maps that you can look at to see where there are registered sex offenders. Carleton and Yamhill are just
chock full.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy.
Well, and I always knew that. Because it wasn't
See, and
something...
I didn't because it wasn't really even talked about when I was a kid.
Right, and totally different. But everyone knew in Carleton, like, whose house had a child molester in it. And, like, and Brianna lived across the street from some man who... and his wife who he got their daughter pregnant and she had the baby. Like, and behind her, there was like an old man who did the same thing.
Frank Coltis?
Yes. That's exactly who it is. Because it's when she lived...
Because, you know, their daughter, his daughter/granddaughter is my age.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, gross. So yeah, there's so much of it. And, I don't know. But in Carleton too, you didn't have to they didn't have to, like, go tell their neighbors or anything. That never happened. People just would find out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and yeah, people would just vaguely talk about the creeper who lived over here or there, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, we should talk about something. That there is a phenomenon within the country where younger people and young adults hook up a lot. Where it's, like, young... like teenage girls with guys in their 20s, that's like so common.
Yeah.
So if we're going to call a spade, bitch, half them bitches in the country are about that kind of, you know.
I know, it's odd though, because I feel like that seems acceptable.
Uh-huh.
Like a 16-year-old girl with a 20-something-year-old boy, and it's like, no.
It's not.
It's really not, because 16, you're still stupid. You don't know anything.
As fuck,
you know, not that the 20-year-old boy's not stupid, because they are.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I think that everybody's kind of stupid until you hit at least 30. But,
right, agreed.
You know, yeah, I think about that.
Well, and I think, too, like...
But I also think about when I was in high school. Okay, so as a senior in high school.
Okay.
I'm 17, right?
Yeah.
And my math teacher, who I thought was totes hot, was fresh out of college. So he couldn't have been more than, 22, 23?
Yeah.
You know, which... at that age, 17, that's hardly an age difference.
Totally.
Right? And I totally was hot for teacher.
Yeah, and I get that.
You know, and although nothing, of course, would have ever happened because whatever, but had it, I wouldn't have been mad about it because he was hot.
And I get that.
Know.
I get that. I just think from an outsider perspective, right? And I think the lines blur when you get to like 16, 17, right? I think that for a lot of people, they do feel like I'm an adult, and I think adults look at them like they're adults as well. So it doesn't become a defined, like, she's 13 and he's 21. Obviously, that's gross, right?
Right.
But also, would it feel different than if your 17-year-old daughter was dating somebody who was, like, 30?
Yeah.
Or, right? Opposed to your 17-year-old daughter dating someone who's 21.
I know. It is a slippery slope. It's tricky. Mm-hmm. You know, and I don't know. Since I have a 14-year-old daughter... You know, you know, the whole idea is just like, yeah. It was like, don't date anybody. Just don't date.
It was easier for you to accept it with me because I was a whore.
Well, there's that. But you also were so grown up at 14.
Oh, yeah.
I think about you at 14 and then your sister at 14. And you're so different.
Yeah.
Because she's so innocent and naive where
Yeah.
all of that stuff's concerned. I mean, she thinks she isn't, which is cute.
Precious.
You know, but it's like, you just were already so mature by 14, but it was one of those things that we've talked about before where you kind of had to grow up fast, you know, because of abuse and stuff. And she's been lucky to not have to deal with
that.
Is
I talk about that with Gavin sometimes, about how, like, the things the kids, like, will throw fits over. I'm just like, girl, shut up. Like, you have it so good. Like, do you know you have
if
it
they
so
only understood.
good?
Yeah. I mean, come on. The thing is, it's like, I don't get to play my Xbox today. Bitch, what? Xbox?
Uh-huh.
I mean, we barely had a television. You know,
Girl, I had charcoal and papyrus paper.
For our entire family, we had a black and white television in the living room.
I know.
You know, with 5 channels on a good day.
Well,
you know, because cable wasn't even invented yet.
No.
Video games weren't invented yet.
Meow.
You know, if you wanted to play a game, you had to go to an arcade and play, like...
all we had was backgammon.
Pinball, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and it's funny because the other day when I picked Parker up from school, he asked if Gavin and I had a Nintendo Switch, and we do. It's just in the bedroom. And he was like, I think I'm going to ask Mama if I can get one. And I was like, did you not just get, like, the coolest, newest Xbox, you bitch? Like, I didn't say anything.
And not only that, I mean, if we're going to, you know, go there, we have, like, Xbox, I think, PlayStation 2 and 3.
Okay.
And Xbox, whatever it is, and the new Xbox.
That looks like a Borg ship. Sure,
whatever it is. Yeah. And... you know, just recently I bought the freaking Oculus, you know, VR headset.
I know.
And, you know, it's like, they have all the things.
All of it.
Their life, not tough.
Never, not once.
My children are so spoiled. I think about that, too, though this is way off topic, but...
Sure, whatever.
I do think about the fact that when I was a kid, and I try so hard not to do the, well, when I was bullshit.
Absolutely.
Because I hated it when I was a kid. I don't love it anymore now, even as a grown-up. But... I took my first flight on an airplane at 19.
Yeah, okay.
Which was flying from Seattle to Portland, which was fantastic because the entire thing was like 45 minutes. And that included boarding and, getting off the plane. Fabulous. But my children took their first flight, took their first real vacation at the ages of 3 and 5.
Yeah, bitch.
You know, and flew to Florida.
I'm sick of it.
And went to Disney World.
Yeah.
And have now been to Disneyland... 3 times.
Okay.
I went to Disneyland for the first time at the age of 14, which we talked about, you know, recently on here, on a fucking school bus with my church.
Yeah.
And got to go for a day. They went for a week.
Yeah.
And they had spending money.
Yeah.
And they, you know, it's like, so, yeah, their life, not rough.
And their spending money didn't include their food, right? Like, everything else was already taken care of.
Yeah, the only thing their spending money was for was souvenirs, period. Anything they wanted to buy for themselves. And so what we do... is we, you know, with the other thing here called a bottle drop account, where it's you take all of your cans and bottles, turn them in for the refund, but it stays in an account until you pull it out. If I remember correctly, I pulled out $500.
That's crazy.
And split it between the two of them, so they each had $250. Girl. $250. That's a lot of money.
I remember taking cans when I was younger, and they were 5 cents, and we'd go up to the machines and do it when I was younger to get like a little bit of coin to buy like a candy bar or whatever. But yeah, I hated that shit. So I love having the bottle drop. I need to take about 15 bags.
Same.
But girl, I love it.
I just filled another one this morning. I need to do that. But when I try to tell them about how privileged their little lives are, they just don't want to hear it because it's like. You know, they don't... Of course they don't. They have nothing to compare it to.
No.
But it's like the fact that Grace wants to eat out like, can we go to, you know, can we go to Buffalo Wild Wings?
I know.
No, we just ate out the other night and spent however much money. Do you think we're made of... And she just doesn't understand that every time you eat at a restaurant, you know, that costs a good amount of money. And she's just like, but back to my, you know, back to my childhood. Literally, in my entire childhood, I ate at a restaurant one time.
Yeah, that's crazy, though.
Once.
That's crazy, though.
In 18 years. We were 6 kids.
True.
Yeah. You know, before she was a single mom, when she was still with my stepfather.
Yeah.
Anyway, when she was still with him, we went to a Chinese restaurant in McMinnville, which I'm sure was super authentic. and had dinner after we went bowling or something.
Yeah.
That was it, though. For the entire time I was a kid.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, if she was feeling rich, she would like go to the Arctic Circle and buy, a bag of burgers and fries. Which as a kid was such a treat.
Yep.
Even though I'm sure they weren't good.
No. But that's so funny. I mean, because I obviously ate at restaurants as a child often. I mean, regularly. I wouldn't say often, but like I had been to them. But Grandma had no problem, like because I was homesick a lot. And so I would, I would go to work with her, or sometimes I wouldn't, and she would always stop, like, usually by Burger King and bring home Whoppers. Yeah.
Well, sure, you gotta feed the poor sick girl.
Yeah, I was sick and dying. Or, I was on the way home and be late or whatever, and she'd be like, well, what do you want to eat? And we'd always just go get Whoppers, which is really cute to me now. But, yeah, so, your children don't understand their privilege, but that's okay. And they, and listen, sometimes I'm like, like, what are you... One eye closes and I vibrate until steam comes out of my ear. But I'm grateful that they don't have to know that level of scariness, Most children shouldn't.
Because they don't understand, like...
not having... Going without...
Food...
Insecurity.
At all.
Yeah.
Or, like, not having the electricity.
Yeah.
Or not having water. Or not... Literally, if the power goes out here, they're in a panic because the internet goes out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What do we?
No other reason.
No.
It's like, oh, no, what am I gonna do? There's no internet.
No, I know,
baby.
It's gonna be okay.
Go play a board game.
Yeah.
Go walk outside. Go meet something.
Yeah.
No.
No.
It's the end of the world.
Panic.
I spent a week one time as a kid with no power.
Girl. Yeah. Honestly, I get it.
And. We knew food insecurity. We knew. I love that that's called that now because I think that really is very accurate.
Well, and it's housing insecurity or home insecurity.
And I knew that too.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, opposed to being houseless. But housing insecurity for sure. All of that, other than like being at Grandma's house. Anyway, back to school. So the elementary school, Carlton Elementary, was not my tea. I will say because it was my school until I was like 14, I was like comfortable enough there. Even being the one who was shit on the most, I was still like, well, this is safe, right? Like, this is safe enough. I feel more comfortable here. I don't want to go to a high school with older, meaner, scarier kids, right?
Right. Well, right.
But I was still, bullied incessantly, but I still was like, at least it's comforting. At least it's like bullying I know.
Well, right. It's the shit you know.
Oh, right.
At least you recognize it. You know where it's coming from.
Well, and then going to high school too, because Yamhill Carleton, as for all of you, it combines Yamhill and Carleton, those two schools together. And now they do it earlier. Now I think they've turned to like...
now there's a middle school.
Like Carleton is the grade school full stop.
Right, and Yamhill Elementary is now the middle school.
Yes, and
then there's the high school, because the middle school... So the elementary school in Yamhill is where I started school, when I started first grade. And I went there first, second, third grade, and then moved to Carleton.
Right.
And went there 4th through 8th grade, and then went back to Yamhill for high school.
Yeah, so traditionally that was what happened, right? That each school had an elementary school or a grade school that went kindergarten through 8th, and then you both joined for high school.
Yeah. But now when I was there, it was just 1 through 8.
But now they do it, like, all the time. I mean, now they just start them kindergarten. Everyone's going to the same school.
I found that out that it was like the Carleton Elementary is the elementary for both towns.
Yeah. And so it was really, I don't know, going to high school for me was scary. I had family, like sisters and cousins and whatever, but like, sometimes that was helpful, but most of the time it wasn't. And Yamhill YC High was like, I transferred out of there for a reason. I was like targeted constantly. So I did really well academically, obviously. But I hated it. And then when I transferred to McMinnville, I just was all, oh, okay. No, I'm gonna be a bitch.
For me, high school was better than elementary school, only because I had a small group of friends that I could hang with and stuff.
Sure.
And I did theater, which was super fun. I love doing theater.
Yeah.
And I was in the choir and all of that. So I was like the, drama art nerd, whatever.
Yeah, I love that for you.
And so that was fun, and I did love that. I loved doing theater. But outside of that, bleh.
See, and for me, it was like academics. If we were in class learning, I was mostly fine. People, I mean, again, still being bullied wherever you are. But teachers knew, and like teachers always loved me because I was like studious and I was present and I participated. But like, so it was never the adults. The adults were always on my side, I felt, but it was the rest of the students it was horrible. Yeah.
Right. I agree.
So I, as you know, didn't graduate. I left high school on my 17th birthday, and then, long story short, came here. Moved to Portland.
Yeah.
And then got my GED. And since then, I've been to...
Well, and that's kind of the thing, is the whole stigma, I think, around you have to have a diploma is nonsense.
Agreed.
Because first of all, since I've graduated high school 457 years ago,
right,
once I was asked for my diploma, that was when I started beauty school.
That makes sense.
They just wanted to make sure I had it.
Yep.
And I showed them, and I put it away, and I don't think I've seen it since.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's probably in the safe with all the other important papers, but...
Sure.
I'm 61. Who the fuck wants to see my diploma?
Yeah, and who cares if you graduated high school 87 years ago? Do you know what I mean?
And it's on, like, isn't that called vellum? It's on papyrus. It's like written on a tiger skin pelt. I'm not sure. Anyway.
It's etched in the stone.
But, yeah, nobody cares.
No.
Well, and the fact that you are literally one of the smartest people I know, and you didn't graduate high school, and you got your GED, and it certainly didn't hold you back even a tiny bit.
No, not at all.
And that my husband also, for different circumstances, didn't finish high school and got his GED. Certainly didn't hold him back. He went to college, was on the dean's list, was on the National Honor Society, all the things. So it's not really the big thing that folks think it is.
No, and I think I don't know, and I think so much more public education, especially at high school too, it doesn't teach you enough. It doesn't teach you well enough.
Right.
It teaches you a lot of it is just sugar coated, and anyway, I guess I learned a lot. I had a good basis, but I also by the time I was a junior in high school, I was only taking like AP and honor courses. Like I wasn't taking like your standard like 11th grade English or whatever.
Because you're above it.
Well, and at that it was challenging, but like I still don't think they could have done more. And I get it, teachers are burnt out, but I think the curriculum could be better.
Right.
I think the standards for school.
Well, sure, of course.
Yeah. I think that why not find something that people are geared towards and like set their schedule that way, opposed to being like, you have to learn this pointless bullshit that you will never use in your life,
That's the other thing that always confuses me about school is, so you're going to go to college to, let's say, be an accountant, and you have to take PE.
Right.
Because that's important for your accounting business.
Right. And so
why is that a requirement? Or why is it a requirement that you take anything that is not specifically in line with what you're doing?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
No.
It's just, for me, and college, to me, feels like such a scam. Because they're all so fucking expensive.
Yes.
And being on the board of directors of, the Audrey M. Edwards Scholarship Fund, which is Peacock Productions, I see how much colleges cost because we have kids that come to us every year for scholarships. And on their application, it'll say, like, they're going to whatever college, Oregon State. And this is their, the cost of college, the cost of housing, the cost of food, the cost of books. It's more than most people make in a year. Mm-hmm. How is anyone expected to pay that?
Yeah.
I've seen colleges as high as $100,000 for a year.
Yep.
1 year.
Crazy, right?
That's a scam.
That's crazy.
That is ridiculous.
It is insane to me. Yeah, absolutely. And that's like, if you're going to be a professor, like, those are the schools you want to teach at, though. Those are the schools that have the money,
Yeah. If I was going to be a professor, but I'm not smart enough to be one, I would want to be like Reed College, because it's private and it's rich kids.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure I'd also want to choke them all.
Oh, all dead. Every single one of them.
Because they're all gross.
I know. So that's like the only way, because like through ASU, a lot of it they have online. So there's professors that are on campus and there's hybrid. But I take classes from professors that are strictly online. And there have been people who graduated who just go on to teach specific classes. Like there's been a lot of ASU graduates who teach like Women's Studies 101.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. And I feel like I could do that. Because I'm not really in class lecturing.
Right.
You know what I mean? That would be easier. But we'll see. We'll see if they like me. Oh, and yesterday, as you know, speaking of school, bitch, everyone heard last time that I got, Phi Beta Kappa, which is the oldest, like, Greek system in America. Thank you so much. I'm an elite, smart person. What? Oh, I got my cords yesterday so that you wear at graduation. I will probably have a few of them. But I got these ones yesterday that are...
So are you going to get, like... I know you're not going to the school for graduation. Yeah. Are you going to get, like, a cap and gown and all that stuff?
So probably.
And do pictures and...
I see, because Becky asked me, my mom asked me.
I will sing Pomp and Circumstances while you watch.
Exactly that. So yeah, because I worked really hard. I want all the things. I want them to send me all the things. And Starbucks, because I work there, will give me an apron that has like ASU graduate and my name embroidered into it. Beautiful, right? And even if I don't work for Starbucks much longer after that, I want all the things. So yeah, I got my cords yesterday for Phi Beta Kappa, which is really cute. Go Phi Beta Kappa, whatever. But they're sky blue and like baby pink. And I said, who chose these colors? But I guess they were chosen in 1776 by the people who founded it. Yeah, right? Crazy. So, but I'll probably get one for the school, and then I'll probably get one for graduating with honors.
Nice.
Yeah. So we'll see.
You can use them later for bondage and stuff.
Oh my god. Yeah. What a good idea. I
know.
I gotta go. I have research to do.
Little pretty satin ropes. You can be all tied up in pink and blue.
Oh my god, how precious.
So when I was graduating high school, I wanted to go to college, but I, didn't know that as a poverty-stricken child, I probably could have gotten some decent scholarships.
Yeah.
Or at least gotten some grants.
Like aid, yeah.
But unfortunately... my freshman, sophomore, and junior year were riddled with bad attendance. And so my GPA wasn't the best. Mm-hmm. My senior year was fantastic. If we just went on my senior year, I would have been like college material.
Going to Harvard.
I was right, because I was on the honor roll, everything. Because when you actually attend school...
Right. Weird,
I feel
right?
like you have a reason to be there, because I had a boyfriend my whole senior year.
Oh, yeah. So you're like, I have to go to school.
Yeah.
I have to see Brad, or whatever his name was.
Yeah, we'll go with Brad.
I love Brad.
Brad.
Did you guys go surfing when you were in the...
We totally did.
Scummy little ponds or the river?
Right. We did not. But I was thinking about, I wanted to be a teacher.
Oh my god, okay.
But here's the problem. I only wanted to be a teacher so I could have summers and holidays off. I didn't want to be a teacher because I love the idea of being in a classroom with molding young minds.
Yeah.
Because I like my own children.
Yeah. When you said molding young minds, I didn't think of you molding them. I thought of them as going like rancid and molding. And I said, ew.
Well, it could have happened.
Yeah.
But I was literally thinking... I should do this job because, I would get summers off.
Yeah, sick.
And 3 months off, I would love that. Mm-hmm. But...
Because you loved school so much, you thought, let's go back.
When I got my high school transcripts, I was all, I might be able to go to, like, plumber school or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I didn't go anywhere. I just went right into the job market.
Yeah.
And got menial jobs, pumping gas and doing whatever, where you don't have to have any brains or skill. And I'm not saying that if you to do it, you're dumb, but you don't have to be smart, because they can train anybody to pump gas.
Sure.
I mean, and then it was even simpler. Now it is not. With all of you have to know how to work the machinery. Is all different. But anyway, I went right into the job market and did that for quite a while and hated it. Hated it, because I had known from the time I was very young that I wanted to be a hairdresser. Yeah. And so it wasn't until you were born...
Oh my god.
...that I started going to beauty school.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's all because of you.
I know.
I was like, you were born, and I was like, oh, it's the baby Jesus. My life has changed. I'm going to go to school. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's precious.
Yeah. Oh my god, you were such a precious baby.
I know. I was the cutest baby.
You were certainly the cutest baby of your generation. So,
all right, I'll take that one. Yeah. I'll take it, because I definitely was.
Oh yeah, look at all your cousins. You were the cutest.
Yeah, I was.
Definitely the cutest.
I know.
But then I went to beauty school, which even at that I was like, oh my god, how am I going to? Because I was working. By the time I went to beauty school, I was working in a factory.
Oh, fun.
Fucking hated it. It was
this is very Flash Dance of you.
Yes, I was working as a welder. No. I was working in a chainsaw factory.
Oh.
Where I didn't make chainsaws, but we made the components.
Right.
That like made up the chain.
Okay.
Like the rivets and the
Yeah.
teeth and the different things.
Love it.
All
Love
fun in the bars and the...
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sure.
I also worked in a bar and that was different.
Very
But,
different.
Yeah, it was awful. It was mind-numbing. It was backbreaking. It was horrible. I hated it.
Yeah.
Hated it. In case I'm not being clear,
The worst.
it sucked.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. And so one day on my way home from work, because I drove by a beauty school every single day, I was like, what's it going to hurt to just go in and ask some questions?
Yeah.
And
Excellent.
so I went to the local beauty school, which was 2 minutes from my house.
Mm-hmm.
Went in and talked to the people who owned the school, and I was like, I want to go to beauty school. How can I do that?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, you can apply for a loan, you can apply for a grant, you can apply for whatever, financial support, all the things. And so I did, and by the way, I was married at the time, didn't tell my husband anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, I'm just applying for it. I mean, if they say no, I mean,
Yeah.
no harm, no foul. And so, but they didn't say no, and I got approved for all the things so I could pay for school and have money to live on. So, because they gave me whatever that's called, like cost of living
Yeah.
loan or grant or something. I don't think any of it was a grant. I think I had to pay all of it back. But anyhow, and so we went home one day and I was like, just so you know, I'm quitting my job and going to beauty school. And he, of course, was like, what? Why you're just telling me this? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm a grown-ass woman.
I'll do what I want.
I don't have to ask nobody nothing.
Who
So-
you thought you were?
What?
No, nothing. Continue.
And so I went to beauty school, which was interesting.
Okay.
I loved parts of it.
Okay, yeah.
But it was way better than high school because
Sure.
most of the people
Sure.
there were there because they wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
What was interesting is there was a handful of kids who were there because their parents told them, you have to do something.
Yeah.
You have to go to some kind of schooling.
Don't be a loser.
Don't be a loser. Go to some
Yeah.
kind of schooling. And for some reason, people have this mistaken notion that beauty school, that anybody can do beauty school.
Well, no, not anyone can.
No. Because you have to at least have some artistic ability. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you go in there and you just are clumsy or you
Yeah.
can't visualize what things should look, you're not going to do well.
No.
You might be
Sorry.
able to like fake your way through because they don't really care if you can do hair to graduate.
Yeah.
They care that you can follow the rules and the laws, especially where it comes to like safety, sanitation, and health.
Yeah.
You have to be able to know how to clean things up, especially
Sure.
if you make someone bleed. You have to know how, but all the things, how to dispose of things properly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
more important to them than knowing if you know how to do anything.
Yeah, who cares?
But one of the fun things about beauty school for me was that the lady who owned the beauty school, I was her favorite.
See?
I was the teacher's pet. She loved me.
I love that, yeah.
Yeah, it was really funny because she told me later that when I first applied for school, that she went in and told the kids, all the students, she was like, there's a new student coming to school, and you better be nice, because she was all worried because, being the fat kid,
Yeah.
that people would be mean. And then she's like, and then I spent time with you, and I wasn't worried at all. I was like,
No.
No.
Because you're a bitch.
Shouldn't have been.
You shouldn't have been.
But you and I were talking about this earlier. One of the people I met in school who I just love, our friend Jeannie,
Miss Jeannie.
almost quit on her first day of school.
Kills me.
Because
Nauseating.
so we're sitting in the break room in the back of the school, and one of the women who I went to school with, who was older, she was older than me. I don't know, because I was. So if it was the year you were born, I was 27. Yeah, I was 27. So she was older than me.
Oh my god, old.
And not Janny. She was a baby. She was fresh out of high school. But this other woman, we'll call her Bob.
Oh, this other woman, Bob.
Because, everyone's Bob.
Right, I understand.
Was sitting on the floor, scooching her cooch across the floor because it itched.
I've never seen a human do that.
I've only seen dogs do it. Dogs
Yeah.
and cats, mostly dogs. But it was like, it freaked poor little Janny out so bad. Because here she'd just come from Christian school to see some trashy old white lady scooching her cooter across the floor.
The coat's cute and booky.
Because she had been with a couple of men the night before. And so, yeah,
Her bits were bitsin'. I don't know.
This girl is on fire.
Oh.
Yeah, she was having some troubles that day. And Janny said later, she was like, I
Nurse?
almost quit that day.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh no.
Oh,
no. This is not for me.
I love that. She's so precious.
But I loved beauty school. I mean, I had a lot of fun. So that school for me really kind of changed my feeling and my outlook on school. Plus, I did really well. And when I took the test, so to become a hairdresser or anything, because in there's you can be just a nail tech, just a face tech, or just a hairdresser, or all three. But to do any of them, you have to pass the safety, sanitation, and health test, which is really hard, and then the test for each, each branch of it. Well, your girl here took the test and got the highest score in the history of my beauty school.
Oh my god!
Because when I got back, of course, the teacher who loved me, she was also, how did you do? And she's all nervous. I'm like, I got 99%. She was like, on the hair. I was like, no, on the SSNH test. And she was like, nobody ever gets that high of a score. I was like, I'm a good tester.
What do you mean?
I suck at daily work, but I'm a good tester. I got it.
I love that. I love that.
And I've been doing hair ever since.
Yeah, look at you.
Love it.
Succeeding, thriving.
Yeah. All the things.
Yes, I get it. I hated school. I didn't hate learning. So going to San Francisco.
Same. I always liked learning. I hated the social aspect.
Two schools really changed me.
People are horrible.
Well, obviously transferring to high school really changed me because I had more opportunity. I was more like, well, people are going to shit on me. I want to give them a reason to, so I was a bitch to everyone.
Well, because you went to Yam Hill Carlton, which was when I went, it was like 400 students.
Yeah, it was maybe 600 by the time I went.
And then you went to McMinnville High School, which was how many?
Like 3,000.
Yeah, so huge difference.
Yeah, but they also offered more foreign languages. They offered more classes. They were closer to colleges, so you could easily take higher attained classes. And so that was great, but it was still high school in the country.
Yeah.
So hated it. San Francisco, going to the Academy of Art really was eye-opening because it was my first time actually moving away from home, opposed to Carleton to Salem to here, but but moving away from everyone and everything I knew. It was a good time. I would never do it again because living in San Francisco is expensive. It's sketchy. Every other person I knew got jumped,
I don't know how you survived it, really, because you spent a fair bit of your time in college drunk.
Drunk
and making really stupid choices.
Making really bad choices. Really bad choices.
I guess it's good that your best friend there was 7'3".
Yes. Yeah, and I remember Sebastian would just come lumbering. I needed Sebastian somehow, a dog whistle, and here he comes, the BFG coming to save me. But he always did. That's what happens. But yeah, I would never do it again.
Snaps to Sebastian. We love him.
Yeah. But it was exhausting, looking back, I was like, no thanks. But ASU really changed my way where I'm at now. Because I couldn't imagine going into a class for 15 weeks about the same class and taking 4 classes at once. It just sounds like a lot. So going back to school and going to ASU where it's broken up into sessions and everything is hyper accelerated. That's how my brain functions. And I feel like going to school this time was why I succeeded, was how they do school here, the layout. So yeah, that I think transferring high schools, moving to San Francisco, and then starting at ASU were really the 3 schools the 3 times I went to school where it changed a part of my outlook,
Well, sure.
Yeah.
I know that one of the things, of course, that I'm very concerned about is, of course, my daughter's going to be going into high school next year.
Right.
Into the biggest high school in Oregon. It's huge.
It is huge.
It is huge. I mean, the one thing I like about it is we are in the most diverse school district in Oregon. I love that.
Yeah.
So she's not going to school with a bunch of entitled white children.
No.
However, I just worry she'll get, kind of lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Because it is so big.
But I don't think that'll happen. And the reason I don't think that with Grace specifically is because of, the family. You know what I mean? Her family life. And, I have picked them up and taken them to school. And if I'm going to be working with her more, you know what I mean? I think that we would be aware of that. And she has, a you know what I mean? She would have people there to advocate for her.
Well, yes.
Opposed to people just actually going on their own and not having that kind of guidance or support. Yeah, I get it. sending any child to any school, I don't know how people do it. That shit stresses me right the fuck out.
When I first sent the kids to school, it stressed me out. And I actually cried for the first few days.
Like when they went to school the very first time as children? Okay.
Yes, because the thought was, one, I've had my children for such a short amount of time, and already they're now away from me multiple hours of the day.
Yeah.
There was that. And so that was just kind of, meh, whatever. As a mom, that was hard for me. And I know so many parents are just like, oh, thank God they're in school, I get a break and whatever. And I didn't feel that way until much, much later.
Until this year.
And then the other thing was, I started thinking about, because I'm one of those weirdos who thinks, so, you know, I let things just kind of steamroll into this big ball of nonsense where it goes from, oh my God, they're at school for 4 hours a day or whatever. Because in preschool, I think they were gone for 2.5 hours a day. And then elementary school was 6 hours a day or whatever it is. But it was like, well, this is how it's going to be for the rest of their time living at home. Mm-hmm. They're going to be gone for bigger and bigger chunks of time until they're just gone and move away from home, if that ever happens.
Yeah.
Because in this economy, I don't think anybody's moving away
no,
from
honey,
home.
I came back. We have a second one, so no one leaving this bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Blood in, blood out, motherfucker. We're not leaving.
But it just made me have that kind of sad feeling of like, wow, this just will kind of, you know, go on this way until they're gone. And I realized, as a parent, that's what you're supposed to
that
be
was your
shooting
job.
for. That's your job,
yeah.
to make them independent, to make them able to live on their own,
sure.
to turn them into, you know, members of society who can be self-sufficient and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Well, and also, let me tell you something. I think more and more, if we just learn that as a society, we need to help and support each other, opposed to being like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, because that's unattainable for so many people. And so I think people who live close to home, or people who live in multi-generational housing, like...
Well, if you look at most other countries, most people live in multi-generational family households, or whatever, where it's like kids, parents, grandparents. You know?
Well, and like in cultures like more like tribal cultures or more indigenous cultures, that's what has always happened. You know, that's why there's always a grandma or an auntie or whatever. And so I don't think that your kids have the feeling of moving away. You know what I mean? Like I can't imagine that.
No, but of course, as they were maturing into kind of those ages, it was just kind of that feeling, because that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's what we're expected to do. And it was like, I couldn't wait to get away from home.
Oh, yeah.
Because I hated living in the country.
Okay.
And I moved an hour away from my family, you know, and thought nothing of it, except, you know,
good riddance, bitch. Yeah.
I can live in the city. And what, of course, the funny thing about that is when I moved here from Carlton, I was like, oh my God, I'm in the big, big city. And it felt so big compared to, again, Carlton, 1,200 people.
That's tough.
And then I moved to Portland, where it's, I don't know how many millions of people.
Yeah.
And I lived in North Portland, so it was very diverse compared to where I had lived in the past, you know.
Well, and at that time, too, most definitely.
Well, in North Portland, yes. At that time, there was a huge black population in North Portland, so I was like, oh my God, I'm not in this whole white community like I grew up. And so I loved that. And then I started traveling, and I was like, oh, Portland's not that big.
Or
and
that.
It's not that diverse.
No.
And it wasn't until years later that I learned how not diverse Portland is and all the history of that. But still, you know, not the point. The point was, when I turned 18, well, actually I was 19, when I moved away from home. But I was like, I never looked back. I was like, I gotta go. She gotta go now.
Yep. Well, I think that was, you know, because I moved away
But a different time.
Yeah, totally. But I think also I moved away from Carlton to here, and then I moved away from here, but now, girl, I come back. Because I've done that before, but, girl, she old now. She old and tired. I don't need to go anywhere else. What the fuck do you mean?
Right. Right. I get it. I know. Oh, well, you know, it's about time to wrap things up here.
Do we record it this time?
Oh, no.
Or nor. Clear.
Yes.
Okay.
It's recorded.
Well, you old bitch. What, you 67?
752.
I thought so.
Yes, I'm very old. I'm 61.
I know.
I know. I'm old.
I
but
know
that's
you
okay.
are. Yeah. You old, you wise, you made it, bitch.
I would like to think I'm wise. Some days, I don't feel that wise. Some days I feel dumb as shit. But
You know, we all have those days.
when my 12-year-old had to teach me the other day how to do a Google image search,
Listen.
I was like, I actually asked my 12-year-old, could you teach me how to do this?
You could have just asked Google. But you know what else, though?
Wait, you can just ask Google how to do a Google
You could
image
ask
search?
Google how to do things. Yeah.
I literally, I
Google.
will ask, mostly now I don't even type things into Google. I just tap the little microphone and go, how do I do that? Or what is this? Or where is
Yeah,
this? Or
I love that.
Because I'm like even too lazy to type.
No, I got
So-
it.
But, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I learned how to do a Google image. I don't know that I remember.
Girl, I always thought it was... I remember being younger and you had like a computer and knew how to use the internet. I was like, whoa. Like, because I lived in the country.
Right.
And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Your sister taught me a whole bunch of
Well, she's
stuff.
stupid.
Well,
Yeah, I'm not
yes,
surprised.
But she
Yeah.
taught me some stuff.
Yeah.
Because years like she taught me how to use a mouse.
My God.
She was like, you have to right click on things. I'm like, right click as opposed to wrong click. What does that mean?
Yeah.
I know. I was
Malfunction. Please, restart system. Yeah.
I know. It's rough. So
Anyway.
that's gonna do it for us for today.
Yeah.
And, again, sorry that I screwed up the first
No,
time
it
through,
was
but we
perfect.
made it.
We did.
We actually got a show, and we're
did.
here. And this coming weekend is Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. So for all the moms out there,
Happy Mother's Day.
Because I know at least a few moms listen to us. And,
Yeah.
because Lori Lee listens to us. And Happy Mother's Day, Lori Lee.
Happy
and
Mother's
my
Day.
sister Linda. And
Happy Mother's Day, Aunt
with
Linda.
all her babies,
All of
who
them.
of course are all grown up now.
Gross.
I know. It's just
Gross.
such a weird thing.
Oh,
Because my sister is
12.
12,
17.
right? And she has 4 grown children. That would be weird.
That's
Yeah,
different.
that is different. And grandchildren.
Oh, that's gross. Congratulations.
And Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Thank you for coaching me through that.
Yeah.
Heather Rachel is a mom. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy Mother's Day, Heather Rachel. Who else? Do we know any other moms? Other moms, happy Mother's Day.
Everyone else, all the happiness to all the moms
Sure.
and all everybody.
Yeah.
And on that note, if you want to wish us anything, like to go die, or
Yeah.
to stop talking, or to just shut the fuck up,
Yeah, that
you
one.
can send us messages at itwouldseemasthough@gmail.com. Also,
Oh my God.
you can send us show suggestions or
Ooh.
conversation suggestions, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you'd like us to talk about, we're open. Doesn't mean we'll
Not
do
that
it.
open. Like,
we'll
don't
listen
come,
to
don't
it.
come talk to me.
We'll read it. We might not do it, but we'll read
Right,
it.
sure. We'll make fun of you for it.
Well, that too.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Wow, that was a
Now it's time to sing. We don't have
Oh,
the
God,
rights.
she's singing now, so I'm out.
It would seem as though.